Oh, do I have to? But it was so repetitive and boring, I don't have enough to say about it. It's like every other trap album. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the A-Side. I, of course, am your host, Riley, and as you probably have told, today we're reviewing the new collaboration album between Future and Lil Uzi Vert, Pluto X Baby Pluto. Yeah, this one for me wasn't. Um, I've been very critical of trap in the past, and I feel like this album is kind of a microcosm of all of my problems and issues with trap as a genre as a whole. And of course, the two biggest names in trap, or at least two of the biggest names, Lil Uzi Vert and Future, coming together for a collaboration project. You think it would be good. It has been a minute since I've heard a good collaboration album, and I'm still waiting. I don't like this album. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, it's a microcosm of everything I dislike about trap. Mostly how repetitive it is. It's just such a repetitive genre as a whole. It's the same production. All the MCs sound the same. The rappers aren't too different. They don't have interesting flows. And it hasn't evolved at all. The trap I was hearing in my freshman year sounds just like the mainstream trap I'm hearing now in my senior year. So over the course of 4 years, this genre has not evolved or moved forward really at all. If anything, it's only gotten worse and lazier, especially with streaming services getting bigger and bigger and the concept of an album bomb coming out. But more on that in a minute. In this review, I'll be talking probably more generally about my problems with this genre as a whole, because like I said, this album reflects all of it. And the album itself is something I don't have much to say about because I didn't enjoy it. I found it to be rather boring and rather repetitive, as I do a lot of this subgenre of hip-hop. And I don't get how some of my friends, this is the only genre they will listen to. They'll only listen to trap. And I was getting sick of it throughout one album because it was so repetitive. I don't know how that's all they've listened to for the past, 4 or 5 years since the genre really started getting big. Probably even more than that. Because, like I said, I was getting sick of it after these 16 tracks, and that's the thing. Why is this album so long? I know why it's so long, and like I said, we'll get to that, but it doesn't need to be. It's like a nightmare that never ends, and a low-effort nightmare at that. It's just not enjoyable in any way, because every single one of these songs does the same thing, and it does the same thing as every other trap song out there. And sometimes, like the piano and flute on Drinkin' and Smokin', they'll have these interesting, instrumental setup, but then they'll ruin it by making it sound like every other boring-ass trap song. Contrary to popular belief, not every song needs booming 808s and hi-hats to lead the beat. You're just boring. You sound like everyone else when you do it. And like I said, these are two of the biggest names in this genre, so you think they'd at least try, but they didn't try at all. It just gets so repetitive with those same beats over and over again. Not to mention Future and Lil Uzi are not necessarily doing great. It's the same repetitive beats and then the same boring flows and the same slurred delivery. Just nothing interesting as a whole. I can't pick favorites and least favorites off of this album because every song starts to sound the same. It's just over and over and over and over again. The same thing. And this also has so many other things I hate about trap. The vapid flexing in all the lyrics. Once again, the repetitive and annoying kind of buzzwords and stuff and the shouts in the background with the hype men, like the, yeah! Bitch! And the skirts, it just gets to be a lot after the 16th track on the album. And like I mentioned earlier, kids my age go crazy for this kind of music. It's all you hear at dances, it's all you hear at sporting events, or whatever. Back when you were allowed to have those things, of course. And I just don't get it. And I know what you're thinking. Man, Riley, let the kids have their fun. Fuck the kids. Listen to some art. And I know I sound like a pretentious artsy clown, and that's because I am. I know this wasn't made for me. But there's good hip-hop out there to listen to. I mean, if I had to recommend any hip-hop album that didn't fall within this subgenre that came out this year, I mean, there are mainstream artists that did pretty decent. Honestly, I thought Logic's No Pressure was a pretty good album, actually, to drop this year. I mean, as far as trap goes, I mean, yeah, The GOAT was a little repetitive by Polo G, but it was still pretty solid. It wasn't like this repetitive, this uninspired, this dry, this stale, this cookie cutter mainstream album bomb like this. But really, the standout album of this year, besides Juice WRLD, of course, which is pretty much untouchable, is Visions of Bodies Being Burned by Clipping, which is this industrial horrorcore hip-hop album that I do really want to review soon, which is something I want you to all check out if you like this kind of music, because I want you to hear kind of what the artier sides of hip-hop have to offer, just so you kind of have a perspective and an idea of where I'm listening from. Someone who doesn't like trap, who prefers higher art in a sense, and I'm not saying music is like high art, like, ooh, Clipping is, so très chic. No, but comparatively to this, it is, a little more experimental, a little more on the artsier side. That's what I'm into. I kind of lost my train of thought. I went on a bit of a tangent there. That's how much I don't want to continue talking about this album because, like I said, it's cookie cutter, it's generic, it's boring. And the thing is, I can't even really have respect for it because I know, you should respect all music, whether you like it or not. But the thing is, I don't respect this because it took no effort. This kind of music, specifically Lil Uzi Vert's music, is effortless to make. And to prove it, he put out 3 albums this year. 3. The first 2 were like over 20 tracks long, this one being 16 tracks long. 3 albums this year that long. Okay, that's like 50 plus songs he's put out this year, and there are singles he put out too. That's ridiculous, and that proves that this music is thrown together completely effortlessly. Putting out 3 albums this year, and all of them just so happen to be the perfect length to be an album bomb and take advantage of Spotify streaming revenue and how the charts work now. So, yeah, take that as you will, but I take that as just being an effortless, soulless cash grab of an album, and that's kind of the genre as a whole. The fact that it's so repetitive, the same beats with the 808s and has hi-hats over and over again, the same boring generic flows and droll kind of slurred, drugged out auto-tune delivery. It's just not for me, and like I said, I'm an artsy clown, but I'm not into it, guys. I'm sorry. Honestly, I think Eternal Take was better than this, and I didn't even like that album. I'm feeling a 2 out of 10 on Pluto X, Baby Pluto, by Future and Lil Uzi Vert. Man, I was gonna do a couple videos, like a couple reviews in this one, but because it was, I figured I'd give you a blessedly short video if I'm going to review, like, Visions of Bodies Being Burned and hit all those Arctic Monkeys albums as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.